Welcome back to Daily AI News at Let's Data Science. It's 2026-06-24. Today, we're diving into some pivotal developments from the future of machine intelligence to major product launches. Let's get to it. Our top story today is the rapidly escalating fallout from U.S. export controls affecting Anthropic's frontier AI models. Legal technology startup Legion has sued the U.S. government after a Commerce Department directive required Anthropic to suspend access to its most advanced public models, Fable 5 and Mythos 5. According to the lawsuit, the order immediately cut off Canada-based members of Legion's development team, with the company arguing the disruption caused what it described as immediate, irreparable, and existential harm. Legion is asking a federal court in Washington to vacate the directive and block its enforcement. Anthropic is not a party to the lawsuit. The broader implications extend well beyond one company. Anthropic says the government acted after concerns about a reported jailbreak technique affecting Fable 5. The company responded by disabling access to Fable 5 and Mythos 5 for all customers because implementing nationality-based access controls at scale was impractical. Anthropic maintains that the reported capability demonstrated by the jailbreak is already widely available in other systems, including OpenAI's GPT 5.5, and says it disagrees that the issue warranted recalling a commercial model. Access to Anthropic's other models remains unaffected. For AI teams, this story highlights a new category of operational risk. Organizations relying on externally hosted frontier models may now need contingency planning for geopolitical and regulatory interruptions, particularly when engineering teams are distributed across countries. The episode has also fueled international discussion around sovereign AI strategies. Reporting indicates that roughly 200 institutions across 15 countries had access to the Mythos preview before the suspension, while political leaders in Europe are increasingly calling for domestic AI infrastructure and reduced dependence on foreign providers. The court proceedings, future Commerce Department guidance, and any restoration of access to Fable 5 and Mythos 5 will be closely watched by enterprises' products on frontier model APIs. Our next major story comes from South Korea, where Samsung Electronics and SK Hynix are preparing one of the largest AI infrastructure investments announced this year. The companies are expected to unveil plans for more than 300 trillion won, or approximately $215 billion, to build a new semiconductor and AI infrastructure cluster in the Gwangju South Jeolla region. The project will span front-end memory chip manufacturing, advanced packaging, and dedicated AI data centers. The announcement is expected during a public-private meeting hosted by President Lee Jae-myung, with additional agreements scheduled shortly afterward. Importantly, this cluster is separate from South Korea's existing Yongin Semiconductor Hub, expanding the country's manufacturing footprint beyond the capital region. The timing reflects surging demand for AI accelerators and high-bandwidth memory. Samsung recently began mass production of HBM4 memory and reports that sales have already exceeded $1 billion. Because HBM technologies are central components in AI accelerator platforms, including systems used by companies such as NVIDIA, additional manufacturing capacity could have long-term implications for global AI infrastructure availability. The inclusion of AI data centers alongside semiconductor production also shows that governments and industry are increasingly planning compute infrastructure and chip manufacturing as a single strategic ecosystem rather than separate investments. Our third top story focuses on AI policy in Washington. The White House is actively engaging with children's online safety legislation that has become intertwined with broader debates over federal AI regulation. Reporting indicates White House offices met with children's safety organizations to discuss measures including the Kids Online Safety Act, the App Store Accountability Act, and the broader KIDS Act package under consideration in the House. A key issue is whether new federal legislation would preempt state AI laws or leave room for states to establish their own regulatory approaches. Another major point of negotiation is whether platforms should face a statutory duty of care when designing products used by children. House leaders Brett Guthrie and Frank Pallone have announced a bipartisan package, while negotiations continue alongside Senate discussions involving Senator Marsha Blackburn. For product teams, compliance engineers, and platform operators, these legislative details matter because they influence future requirements around age verification, platform safety, AI generated content, and legal obligations built directly into software design. As Congress continues negotiations, organizations should monitor not only the final language but also how any federal framework interacts with existing state AI regulations. Now, for a few other key updates in our lightning round. Hyundai Motor Group plans to acquire SoftBank Group's remaining 9.65% stake in Boston Dynamics for $325 million, making the robotics company a wholly owned subsidiary. Hyundai has already outlined plans to deploy approximately 25,000 Atlas humanoid robots across its manufacturing facilities beginning in 2028. Full ownership could allow tighter integration between Boston Dynamics' robotics roadmap and Hyundai's automotive operations. SpaceX has officially confirmed the name Starmind for its proposed orbital AI computing network. According to public reporting and FCC filings, the concept envisions as many as 1 million satellites capable of performing AI inference directly in orbit, rather than relying entirely on terrestrial data centers. Two AI-1 prototype satellites are reportedly targeted for launch in early 2027. While still in the proposal stage, the project represents an ambitious vision for distributed edge AI infrastructure in space. Meta is facing increased pressure from the U.S. government to participate in voluntary pre-release reviews of frontier AI models. According to Reuters, Meta is currently the only major U.S. frontier AI developer that has not finalized an agreement under the government's voluntary review framework. Companies including OpenAI, Anthropic, Google DeepMind, Microsoft, and xAI are already participating in early access evaluations coordinated through the Center for AI Standards and Innovation. Meta says it hopes to sign an agreement soon. Finally, South Korea's NCAI has introduced Varco 3D 2.0, its latest generative model for 3D asset creation. Reporting says the model achieved a Uni 3D benchmark score of 0.449, outperforming several open-source competitors including Trellis 2, UltraShape, and Hunyuan 3D 2.1 on that metric. NCAI also reports support for 4K textures and generation times as short as 3 minutes for some assets, with deployment to its cloud software platform planned for July. And that's your AI briefing for today. The landscape is moving faster than ever, and we'll be here to track it with you. For more insights, visit us at letsdatascience.com. Thanks for tuning in, stay curious, and we'll be back tomorrow with the latest in AI.